Welcome. In this session, we are going to deploy market basket analysis project. Let's get started. We have our cloud computing engine available on Google Cloud Platform where we have three instances running: master, slave 1 and slave 2. On these instances, we have prepared a multi-node cluster for Hadoop. Let's get access to the shell and we're going to execute JPS command in order to ensure that our name node, data node, resource manager, node manager, all these programs are running. As far as slave 1 is concerned, we're going to execute JPS and we'll check it out that data node and node manager is running on slave 1, as well as if we execute JPS over slave 2, we have these programs running. Now what we need to do is we need to stop all these programs. So over master node, we are going to execute stopall.sh command. Once stopall.sh command will be executed, all our name node and data node will be stopped. Once name node and data nodes are stopped, we are going to stop our machine instances and we want to proceed further. As soon as we get started with our virtual machine instances, it may be possible that the IP addresses may change. So how will you have to configure your machine for Hadoop again and how the project will be deployed? We are going to understand the concept. Now once all the instances have got their node manager, data node and name nodes stopped, we are going to execute JPS again, and now quickly we see that the machines are stopped and the configuration have been stopped on these machines. Now we are going to use JPS and now the configuration shows that data node and node managers have been stopped. Now what next we need to do? We are going to stop these instances. So we go to Google Cloud Platform. We want to close these instances, master. I would like to close slave 1, then we will close slave 2. Now what we need to do, we are going to select all the three machines, master, slave 1 and slave 2, and we want to stop these machine instances. So yes, we would like to stop the machine instances. You can keep your machines stopped, and once you restart these machines again, it may be possible that the IP addresses may change. In case of change in IP address, you can modify the IP address information about slaves and master in these files, etc hosts, and this information has to be updated on all the machines, which is master node as well as your slave nodes. Now what we need to do is, here we are waiting for the machines to stop. Now once all the machines have been at a stopped state, what exactly you can do is you can restart your machines and you can make sure if the IP addresses change, you have to modify the information of etc hosts. So now what we'll do, we'll select all the three instances and we like to get started with all these instances. Once the instances are ready, we like to cross check the IP addresses and we are going to modify the information of IP addresses if they change. So now what exactly we have is, we have got master node allotted at 35, 196, 197, 70. Slave 1 is on this IP and slave 2 is on this IP. So once we are done with this, we like to start the SSH access to all these three instances. So I will start SSH access to master node. Once we get access to this master node, we like to verify the IP address scheme. Now once you are here in the master shell, what exactly you can do is, you can quickly check the information about etc hosts. So we can get access to the etc directory and you can check the hosts configuration. And as far as the hosts configurations are concerned, you can see that master node was earlier on the IP address 35.185.13.132, but if we check that at this moment, if we quickly check this information out, so you can see that now this time master has been allotted the IP address 197.70. Slave 1 has been allotted an IP address of 132 and slave 2 has the same IP address like it has the earlier 120.116. So now what exactly we are going to do, we are going to modify the IP address information here. So what exactly we'll do, let's just copy this information, keep that onto a notepad file and what exactly we need to do is we need to modify the information slow. So let's just put that here. That's the IP address of the slave of the master node. So I'm going to delete that information. This is my slave 1 and this is my master node information. So now once I've got the updated internet IP address information about my master and slave nodes, I would like to put the entry of this information here. So what we have to do, we'll use clear, we'll use sudo nano/etc hosts. Once you have got this information available, you can quickly paste the information here. So I would like to remove the earlier information of master, slave 1 and slave 2, and I would like to update the information about IP addresses of master and slave nodes. So we use it somewhat like this. So you have got the information for master, you have got the information for slave 1, and you have got the information for slave 2. Use Ctrl O to save and Ctrl X to close. Once this information has been updated, now what we need to do, we need to update the information for slave 1 and slave 2 as well. So we'll start slave 1 machine. So let's open /etc hosts information. You have to use that using Nano. Nano is your text editor. So we need to update this information again. So let's just use this information. We're going to use, let's use Control K to remove that information out, and you have to grab the information which is available here. So let's just take the information from here, copy this information and paste the information within your shell for slave 1. Control O and Control X to save and close. Now what we need to do is, in the same way, we like to start the third instance, and that is slave 3. Let's modify the information of host configuration, etc hosts. And within this information, we're going to update the information here. Let's use Control K to remove that information out. And we'll copy the information from here. And we're going to update the information here. We'll use Control O to save this information. Control X to close the information. So now IP addresses of master and slave nodes have been updated. Now what next we have to do is, we have to make sure that we have access to slave nodes from the master node, and in order to do that, I would like to get the authorized information using public key. I'm going to save that into SSH authorized keys first. Once this information has been updated here, I would like to fetch the information of public key of my master node. Once this information has been fetched, we are going to copy this information and I'm going to paste this information within master and slave nodes. So what we have to do, we are going to open the SSH keys. Let's open nano.ssh and you have to open authorized keys. Within this authorized keys, you have to use Ctrl+Shift+V. Save the key within slave 1 for your master node. Let's proceed to slave number 2. We're going to open the SSH authorized keys, and within authorized keys we like to save the information of the master node again. So once we do that, now what we have is, we have got access to slaves via our master node and we can quickly check that. So what we can do is, we can use SSH slave 1 in order to verify if we can access slave 1 from here. So now you can see that yes, we have access to slave 1 from the master node. We'll get out of the slave node and now I would like to check access to my slave 2 node. So I'll use SSH slave 2 and I would like to see, yes, we have successfully logged into slave 2 as well. So I'll exit from this node and we like to check the JPS information. So at the moment our data node and name nodes are not running. We're going to start them after deployment of the project. So once you're done here, you have to install a few softwares within your master machine, and you can quickly do that via sudo apt get install. You need to install the following programs: Apache 2, this is your Apache server. Then you have to install PHP 7.0. Once this has been installed, you have to install lib apache 2 mod PHP, lib apache 2 mod PHP. This plugin has to be installed. Moreover, you will install MySQL server, and apart from this you will install PHP MySQL information. So these information have to be installed, in which you have Apache 2, PHP 7.0, lib apache 2 mod PHP, MySQL server, PHP MySQL. I already have these softwares installed on my machine. So in a fresh machine you have to install these softwares. So as soon as you press enter, all the packages will be installed in your machine. And once you have got all these information updated on your machine, you can quickly start your Apache server and MySQL server. So to do that, we are going to quickly check sudo service apache to start. Using this, your Apache service will start, and sudo service MySQL start. Using this, your MySQL service will start. Once your MySQL service will start, you have to create the database mining tool. Within that, you will have a table known as login, in which you will store username and password information. To do that, we are going to access sudo MySQL, or you can quickly access MySQL directly as well, MySQL-u root-p. So once you access this information, as soon as you press enter, you have to be logged into your account. So now you need to set a password for it, because at the first attempt, as soon as you enter, you will be directly able to log in without any password. Since I have a password set on my machine, I'm getting this access denied error. So what exactly I'll do, I'm going to use MySQL-u, and I would like to log in with my mining user -p password, and the password is PASSWORD. So now once we logged in, we will log into this. Now what exactly you have to do is, you have to modify the password. So what exactly I have to do is, I'm going to create a new user. Let's call it as a user mining, somewhat like this, an account I'm going to create, and I'm going to update this information in our code as well. So let's do that. You have to use the database MySQL. Within this, you have to we are going to create a MySQL user. Let's do that. Create user, and this user will be, let's call it as user mining at localhost, and we are going to specify an information identified by, and this value has to be the password. So let's call it as, the password will be user mining again. So I'm creating a user known as user mining, and the password is user mining. Or let's say we can quickly change the password to somewhat like this, user password. So let's say I have created a user, and this has to be closed with the single quote that has to be actually used at the localhost section. So I would like to log in again to this mining user. I would log in with password, and I'm going to use MySQL. Now I'm going to use create user. This user will be user mining @ localhost. So this has to be closed here. Then you have to specify identified by, and then you have to specify the password. So let's call it as user password. So this is what we're going to do. So one user will be created. Once the user is created, we have to grant permissions. So what we'll do, we'll grant the permissions of all the permissions to this user by using grant all privileges on all the databases to the account, and this account is our user mining at localhost. So we are going to call it as user mining @ localhost, and it has to be closed. So somewhat like this, we are going to grant the permissions. Once the permissions has been granted, so at localhost we have a user mining at local. So for the first time, once you will log in as a root, and once you execute grant all privileges, your privileges will be accepted and all the privileges will be allotted to your mining user account. Moreover, what you can do is, in case if grant all privileges say speaks out any of the issues, what exactly you can do is you can quickly get access to the root account and then you can grant the privileges. So what you can do is, once you're done with granting the privileges, you can use flush privileges, so all the updated privileges will be done. So what we want to do, we'll exit out with this MariaDB. What more you can do is, since you have got access to an account known as user mining, so we generally believe, let's just log in with the root account, and let's say we like to put the password somewhat like this as password. So let's log into that. So once you're logged in as root, you will be able to grant the permissions. So we'll use MySQL, and what we can do is, I would like to grant all privileges on star to your user mining @ localhost. So this information will be granted. So once this information has been granted, now you can use privileges, flush privileges, and the information has been done. Now after this, you have to quickly create a database using the command create database mining tool. So you're going to have a database name as mining tool. Since I already have that mining tool database available, so he is saying me that I have that database available. So now what you can do is, you can quickly use mining tool. Once you have get access to the mining tool, you can quickly click on show tables. Since I have this login table available, but on a new instance you have to create this login table. So in order to create the login table, you can quickly use the command create login, and here you have to create it with the syntax create table name, and name of the table is login. Within this, we'll have a name column, and that will be text, and then you will have a password column, and that should also be text. You should keep the names of username and password as the same name which we have used here, because it is specified in the code. If we change these column names here, you have to change the code as well. So the login table is already created. So what you can do is, at the moment we have some information available. So what exactly we can do is, I'm going to clear the earlier information for login table. Now if we use select star from login, at the moment it will be empty. Now, so it's an empty set at the moment. Now using your user interface, accounts will be created and you will be able to perform data mining using Hadoop over distributed machines. Now once we have successfully installed MySQL and Apache server, so let's go to the directory. Now Apache can be accessible within this directly /var www.html, and all the contents of your project has to be pasted within this directory. Since it is empty at the moment, we have not got any information. So now what we need to do is, we need to upload our website code. So we'll use upload file, and we'll go to the project directory, and from the machine you have to select your website code.zip file. Once you upload this information, it will be uploaded to the directory home big data mining 2. If we currently print the working directory, we are in home big data mining 2. So if we execute ls command, you can see that we have got website code. Now you have to copy this website code to var www directory /var. Let's just keep that into var /www. And within this directory, you have to copy this information. So use sudo cp, and you have to copy the file, and name of the file is website code. This has to be copied to variable www directory. So the information will be copied. Now we'll go to var www, and within this directory here we have a HTML directory. We are going to remove the HTML directory. You have to do that with super user privileges, so use sudo. Now the directory has been removed. Now I'm going to extract website code using zip. So you should have zip installed, apt get install zip. This will install zip on your machine, and then you can use sudo unzip command in order to unzip your website code. So your website code will be extracted in the directory here. So within this directory now you can see that you have got a directory created, mining tool source code website. I'm going to modify name of this directory mining tool source code website to the HTML directory, so that all the contents in this HTML directory will be accessible. And I'm going to remove the website code from this. So now what you can do is you can use sudo rm-rf website code. So this file will be deleted and you will just have the HTML directory, and within this HTML directory you will have all your project contents. Now since we have a new user and password created for our database, we have to modify two files. The first file will be the login file and second will be the signup.php file. So we are going to use sudo nano login.php. Within this we are going to change the password. So earlier the password, the username was root, but now it has been changed to user mining, and earlier we had the password as this, but now we have user password as the password. The database name is mining tool and the table name is login. So now we'll close this file, and now we are going to modify the contents of signup.php. So within this signup.php we are going to modify the user information, and this information will be user mining, and the password will be user password. So we are going to save the information. So now your PHP files will be able to access the databases. Now once this has been installed in your machine, you need to do some modifications. You need to give permissions to this upload directory. So let's do that. Sudo chmod recursively, use the option recursively allot the 777 read write execute permissions to the upload directory. So now if you use -ls-l, you can see that the upload directory has read write x permissions allotted. Now as far as this HTML directory is concerned, you have to change the ownership of this HTML directory to www data, so that your web pages will be able to access the directory and modify the contents. So in order to do this, what we are going to do, we are going to use cd change the ownership recursively to the user www data for the directory HTML. So once we have done this, we are going to use ls-l, and you can see that the HTML directory is currently owned by www data. Now apart from this, once we are done with this, we have to modify the permissions for the HDFS file system also. So in order to perform permission modifications and ownership modifications for the HDFS, you have to start your DFS first. And to do that, we are going to start our name nodes and data nodes, and this we will quickly do with the command start all.sh. So once you execute this command start all.sh, our name nodes, data nodes, resource manager, node manager, all these will be started. So now exactly you can see that we couldn't access the master node. So in order to do that, what we have to do is we have to set the permission to the master node as well again. So anytime if you get permission denied information, so just what you need is, let's just use stop all.sh once. Let us just stop the nodes. So data nodes have been stopped at the moment. I would like to set the permission for my master access to my master machine, and then I'm going to execute the start command again. So in case of permission denied, In case if it is in front of master, so that means you need to put your SSH public keys into master node. In case if it comes in front of slave 1 and slave 2, then it means you have to put the SSH key of the master in the slave nodes. So now what exactly we'll do, again I'm going to use, I'll go to this directory, the main directory, we'll use cat.ssh id_rsa.pub. I would like to put this information into the SSH authorized keys, authorized_keys. So once this information has been put, now we are going to quickly use start all.sh again. And as soon as you execute that, now this time you can see that name nodes will be started on master and log files will be maintained in master.out. Data nodes will be maintained at the slave 1 and slave 2, and the log files will also be maintained in .out extension. Now once name nodes, data nodes, everything is ready, you're going to check whether name nodes and data nodes are running properly so that you can execute your application. So now once this is done, we're going to use the command jps, and using jps, now you can see that data node, node manager, resource manager, name node, jps and secondary name node, all these 5 programs are running, 6 programs are running. Now we'll go to slave 1, and here I would like to check jps, and you can see that data node and node manager are running on slave 1 as well. And here we're going to execute jps, and you can see that on slave 2 also data node and node manager are running. So now once we are done with this information, now what exactly you need to do is you need to put permissions to your HDFS. So we'll open Hadoop fs-ls, and you can see that we're going to list the contents of HDFS root directory. So it has some few directories like test and temp available. So we have to create an input and output directory here. Now the first thing you have to do is you have to perform access to read, write, execute access to the complete root directory. So we are going to use fs. We are going to change the ownership. We would like to change the read, write, execute permissions recursively 777 to the / directory. So once we are done, recursively we'll get read, write, execute permissions on the root directory. Now once we are done with this, we are going to use Hadoop fs-make directory, and I would like to create an input directory. In the same way, I would like to create fs-mkdir. I'm going to create an output directory. So once input and output directories are created, within this your user account folders will be created, and within them our files will be processed. In case if there is any exception which occurs on your application, you can quickly modify the permissions here. So now we have access to this, and we have created a few directories. So let's Hadoop ls the root directory, and now we are going to see that we will get the input and output directories available, and currently they are owned by Big Data Hadoop Mining 2. So in case if you want to change the permissions to www data, you can quickly do that as well. Now, so once we are done, our application is running. We have set permissions for our Hadoop file system. We have created databases. Now we'll go to the instance here. We like to open the IP address of this machine, and as soon as we open this, now you can see that our mining tool project is being loaded here. So we'll go to register the account. Within this registration account, I would like to create a user with the name Dev1, and the password is dev1. If I click on register now here, so now we need to check once the registration will be done, we are going to get the information about success and failure responses. So let's click on register now. The scripts, as soon as they get access, so I've got the registration success. As soon as we click OK, Dev1 account has been made. So we'll go to dev1. Let's click on login. As soon as we go to login, you'll get to the jobs section. I'll proceed to the intelligent mode. I would like to choose the file, and as far as the files are concerned, within data analysis, we have the groceries text set available. In case if you want to view the file, it looks somewhat like this. Tab separated, content is here for groceries. So we are going to process this file groceries.txt. So once this file has been selected here, groceries.txt, I would like to create an output for this. So let's say this will be output 1. This output should be different for each of the time you are processing your data set. So let's click on process. As soon as we click on process, on the left hand side you can see that the file has been uploaded and now the processing will be done. So once the processing is done, we will get the information about the output. Moreover, in case if you land up into any exception, you can quickly check out if you have got proper permissions and ownerships available. Once you will have access to the ownership and the permissions, all the things will be done properly. So now, we have updated our groceries.txt. So within this input dev1, we should have access to this. Input dev1 do not have that. So we are going to quickly check in case if the permission was not allotted to the Hadoop directory. So one thing you can quickly check is fs-ls/input. So we will quickly check if the directory dev1 is created here or not. So by chance it has not been created here, and I would like to check one more thing. Let's say before checking this, what I would like to do is I would like to put chmod access to the input directory. So Hadoop fs-ls, and I would like to check the permissions to this input. So input has read-write access to big data Hadoop mining too, but not to www data. So what we can do is we can quickly change the ownership to www data as well, so that if it is trying to create any of the files and through the web, they would be created here. So let's do one more thing. We'll do Hadoop fs-change ownership information recursively to www data for the root directory. Okay, so I would like to change the ownership information, and once we change the ownership information, our input and output directories will also have the ownership belonging to www data. So now what we can quickly do is let's do check Hadoop fs-ls, and if we list the root directory again for HDFS file system, so now you can see that the ownership belongs to World Wide Web data. So once we got this, now we are going to quickly check one more thing, ls-l/var www.html upload, and we like to check if dev1 directory is being created within upload or not. So we have quickly done a list, and now you can see that dev1 was created there, but since we didn't have access to the input and output, it didn't got created dev1. So now we need to do one thing. We'll just quickly log out from here, and we like to quickly register another user. Let's register it as dev2. So now I have created a new user with the name dev2. Clicked on register now. Once the registration is done, we will quickly get an alert, registration success. So once dev2 has been prepared, now I would like to quickly check if -ls/input, if it displays me the dev2 directory here. So yes, now this time you can see that the World Wide Web page has successfully got this dev2 created. So now whatever files you will be processing, they will be saved inside dev2. So now with the dev2 account. So now we'll quickly log into dev2. We'll log into this. Once we logged in, we quickly go to intelligent mining. We'll select the data set. We'll go to the directory and let's call it as output 1. We're going to quickly click on process. Once we click on process, the processing will be performed, and once the processing is performed, we'll quickly get access to the output. So now we have taken groceries.txt, and it has to be stored into the dev2 directory within HDFS. Then it will be processed, and whatever output is generated, it will be created within output dev2 output 1 in the file known as part 00000, and the processed result from big data will be accessible through that. So now once the processing is done, we'll quickly get access to the result. Now you can see that, so the dataset upload was successful. So we have got one item known as groceries.txt. The replication factor by default was set to 1. The processing has been done. So you can see that MapReduce job has been performed. 29 counters, your HDFS counters, and everything has been processed here. And finally, in the MapReduce output, you have got the output with respect to the content uploaded. So this is how you can quickly upload market basket analysis project, and you can deploy the source codes, you can connect it to the data set, and now the project is hosted on Google Cloud Platform, where we have a multi-node cluster setup, and over this multi-node cluster we can process big data through a web interface, and that is mining tool. Thank you for watching.